Yeah, Mama Joe, Mama, you know, about XYZ tonight, or TV XYZ, and I think so. TV XYZ or YouTube and Facebook Live. Maybe I will be a Rebecca. I want to say, yeah, Joa Dani Ukuada Bia. Medine Prince Kwame Minka, and then you may Yankoma Chuchiano, a Bayer Sononko. Now, a Bayer Sononko free said, Nia Yanene Babedin Komono, were two coins. He's been across the length and breadth of the world. I mean, literally. What might be anywhere, what we are seeing on Kosoda. And the experience, in recent times, and then I'm gonna be here say, what say, you know, if you say, we're African American, we're American citizen. Now, see, I don't find out to say, some Grammy, you be ni chance of me, a American name. Now, a choir will fast to find it out. Any normal, when we are seeing, we are suffering, was to say, I can be where Bibi Memu hanging. It will play out in our conversation tonight. This is XYZ Tonight. And as always, the show is live and interactive. And you better talk kakra, you better brofo kakra. If you say, when you anti ni, even though Nasanti di ebe yaw, if you say wono yawada. His name is Victor Harris, we're an international traveler, and he's our guest this evening here on XYZ Tonight. Victor Harris, good to see you, and welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to be here. I'm thankful that you invited me.
Yeah,
and I consider it an honor and a privilege to be here.
Yeah, and indeed, we're also honored and privileged to have you here because of your stories. It's one that resonates with a lot of people, not just here in Africa, but across the length and breadth of the world, especially African Americans who may be watching us on YouTube and also on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
Now, tell me how you came about the news that, look, you're more African than American. How did it happen?
Well, to make a long story short, my youngest son bought me a DNA test for Christmas, this past Christmas. And I submitted the DNA sample, and I didn't really think anything of it. And I forgot about it. And then my wife and my son asked me, well, did you get the results back? I said, I hadn't really thought about it, because I know what I am.
No, but hold on. When you got the DNA test kit, you immediately moved in and say, look, let me use it and see what's going to come out of it.
Well,
but your wife seemed interested in it.
Yeah.
Is it because you had been, having a conversation around, tracing your roots or what?
Yeah, because when the pandemic started, I was tired of watching TV. So I started watching the internet.
That's when you were on lockdown.
There you go, lockdown. I mean, for a year, when it started, it lasted at least a year. And I started finding interesting things on the internet, and I found the young YouTubers.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Africa. Well, I didn't know much about Africa. I said, this looks interesting. People like Watermaya, African Tigress, African Traveler, Black to Africa, who was an American, expatriate. And they started getting interesting to me. And so then my son bought me the DNA test. And I really didn't think anything of it because I thought I knew what my DNA would say.
Yeah.
Because growing up as a child, there was my mother's mother, my grandmother.
Yeah.
She looked like an Indian.
She looked like a
native
Indian.
American Indian.
Okay.
And so I figured, my DNA is going to come back and say that, I'm a majority Native American Indian.
Right.
But when the results came back, they said something altogether different. The results said that I was 30% Nigerian.
Okay.
10% Cameroonian.
Okay.
And with all the other percentages, 75% African. And I said, how can this be? Because I didn't know this.
So you were more African than
anything
else.
And I thought to myself, because I consider myself a world traveler, I really thought it might have been a mistake. So I was going to be off from work for about 3 months from the movie industry. I work in the movie industry.
We'll come to that.
In Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to do my own investigation.
Okay.
Okay. So I said, hey, I'm going to take 2 months and I'm going to get down to the bottom of this.
2 months.
2 months. Okay. So I've been in Africa for a little over a month now.
Okay.
And I started in Nairobi, Kenya.
Right.
I spent 2 weeks there. And then I moved on to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I spent 2 weeks there.
So you're here with the aim to get into the bottom of who you really are.
Who I really am.
and so you've been to Kenya, you've been to Tanzania.
Yes.
And where else?
And now here.
Now you're in Ghana.
I'm in Ghana.
What have you found out so far about yourself?
Well, after about a week, 10 days, I felt like I was at home.
What? So what in particular made you feel that way?
Well, I felt safer.
Right.
I met people that looked like my cousins.
Okay.
And everybody was just so nice and cordial and respectful. And I was like, what?
In all the African countries.
Yes.
Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana.
Yes.
They all look like your cousin.
Yeah.
Do I look like your cousin?
You look just like my cousin.
What about me makes me look like any of your cousins?
I mean, it's just amazing.
Is it a skin color? Is it
no
the way I look?
It's the way you look. It's the way you carry yourself. I'll say this. I've traveled to Australia, China, lived and worked in Canada, been to have family on my wife's side in London, England, Great Britain, Paris a few times. And everywhere I've been in the world, I have always met Africans that I thought were Americans. But they would usually be from Nigeria because we look so similar. We wear a lot of the same styles. And I would think that it was another African American traveling like me. And then I go to meet them and they would be from Africa, Nigeria.
Okay.
And I would always meet people from Nigeria, and I would always meet people from China.
Okay, just to get us clear, for those that you meet that look like African Americans, who you go to, and surprisingly, they tell you that, look, I'm no African American, I'm from Lagos, Nigeria, or Ikeja, somewhere.
Yes.
What is it about them that makes you feel like they look African American? I really want to know.
They move just like African Americans.
How do they move?
I mean, you know how, I'm sure you're familiar with the Motown sound.
Okay.
Okay. You know what I mean? Africans got rhythm.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So they move with the rhythm.
They move with the rhythm. They move with the rhythm. You know what I mean? And so, I could not tell that they were African. I thought they would be African American. And so what that tells me is that the African population is large in the world, and the Chinese population are two of the larger populations in the world.
Okay, so back to Africa. Since you moved to, Kenya, Tanzania, and Ghana, and still talking about the rhythmic movement, have you experienced that amongst the people you've come across so far, that, look, these guys move and even behave like African Americans? Have you experienced that?
I have.
Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
And have you confronted anyone with that and say, yo, how come you look like my brother just 3 blocks away from what?
I ask people all the time, have you been to America? You know what I mean? Because just like yourself, your English is A1. You know what I mean? And so I just assume that they have been. But, sometimes I have to remember that I've been traveling since my teenage years because I joined the military when I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And my first duty station, like I shared with you earlier, was Pearl Harbor, Hawaii.
Right.
And so I had the opportunity to meet the melanated people from that side of the planet.
Right.
Samoans, Polynesians, Hawaiians, Micronesians, Indonesians, and I didn't know that that melanated people were on that side of the planet. And then I would go to the public library and read up about these people that I didn't know anything about, read their history, and find out that they had so much in common with us because their experience with the colonizers was very similar.
Right. So that brings about the similarities. But then again, on the issue of how Nigerians or even Ghanaians look and even sound African American, have you also considered the fact that there's this conversation going on about cultural influence? Now the world is a global village, and whatever you do in America, I could see it from my home.
That's fact. That's fact.
Ghana.
That's fact.
So couldn't the reason be as a result of the cultural influence? I mean, you're listening to me speak English. You heard me speak in my native tongue.
That's right.
And you saw how I transitioned from my native tongue to English.
That's right.
The fluency could be as a result of the fact that, look, the colonizers taught us too well. Or what? Tell me what you think.
No, well, what it is I was having this discussion with a friend, and they didn't know that America, the U.S. of A., was a British colony once upon a time. Okay, but America has had its independence for over 500 years.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, the point I was making was that many African countries and countries in the West Indies have not had independence more than 65 years, 65 or 70 years.
Yeah.
So it's hard to compare a country that has had independence over 500 years to a country that hasn't had independence 65 years. And the point that I was making is that in Jamaica in particular, that's where my wife is from, you just like, for me, I have to use that as a comparison, okay? I can see the British influence all over the society. You know what I mean?
Is it just a British influence because we go to the movies? We see a Tyler Perry movie. We see Hollywood movies.
And the wonderful thing about that is that it shows that goals can be completed or completed a different way. Because anybody that's been to London, England, and has been to America knows that in America we don't build our streets like, you know what I mean?
Like what?
Like Great Britain and England.
Okay.
It's much more modern, much more streamlined. It works for America. You know what I mean? Whereas some of the things in the British society, they still do things the way that they did 100, 200, 300 years ago.
Okay, now that brings me to this question because we can now get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been to Africa. You've been to few countries in Africa.
Yes.
Has Africa met your expectation in terms of how it looks, the landscape? Well, of course, we've talked about the people, but in terms of infrastructure development, in terms of where you thought Africa should be, as compared to the knowledge you had about Africa whilst you were in America.
It surpasses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I tell you this, I've seen the development in Nairobi, Kenya, that the Chinese are helping build, the infrastructure, the highways, the bridges, the roads, even buildings. I'd say in 10 years, Africa is going to be so different and so much more advanced. You know what I mean?
10 years.
10 years, because environmentally it's so rich. In other words, the natural resources. It has all the natural resources. The natural resources to advance Africa. I mean, the majority of the gold in the world comes from Africa.
Yeah.
The majority of diamonds in the world come from here.
Yeah.
Bauxite and all the other minerals, the things that the Chinese and the British and even America, the resources that they need.
But does it match the development you see? I mean, you're talking about gold And you know how much gold is valued and worth. You're
Yes.
talking about diamond, you're talking
Yeah.
about cocoa, you're talking about the rich human resources on the continent. Does it match the development you see?
No, no, it does not.
Tell me more.
It doesn't match the. A lot of these modern industry, you know, the roads, things like, a lot of this development is not new. It's been around 75, 100 years. It just was not shared with Africa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you go to China, and Shenzhen was the city I spent time
Right.
in. Shenzhen is skyscrapers forever, and it's larger than New York City. I was telling a friend, he said, no, I thought New York City was the largest city in the world.
And that's China. That's Shenzhen in China.
That's right. I said, no, New York City is not even on the list of the 10 largest cities in the world. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's information. It's information. This I was sharing with you earlier. Well, I'm not going to go into that too deeply.
But you can share a bit of
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Well, we've been using stick building
Right.
in America 100 years. Stick building is a little bit less expensive than the way that you build here, and a lot faster. We've been using it for 100 years, and structural stand for 100, if not longer. The White House is stick built.
The White House?
Yeah,
It's a stick building?
it's a stick built.
Wow.
Okay, you know, but and the thing is the way you guys build here is the way that they build in the tropics, in the West Indies, because they have hurricanes and tornadoes. And when somebody told me that in Africa they don't have hurricanes and tornadoes, I was like, why?
No, we don't have it yet.
Okay.
Having climate change in mind,
Yeah.
we don't have that yet.
Yeah.
But hey, I get your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, but it would put so many more Africans in decent homes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, stick building.
Stick buildings.
Yeah.
So if say government should adapt that, it would take a lot of people from the streets. Do you see people on the streets in Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania? Since you've been around.
I mean, in America, it would be hard for Americans to imagine this society. Reason being, the middle class. Those are people that just go to work every day, like myself. The middle class is the majority. Not the poor, not the rich, but the middle class.
Yeah.
The people in the middle.
The working class.
The working class.
Yeah.
They go to work every day. You know, they go to school, they get an education, they have professions, they have businesses, they raise a family, send their kids to college, tax-paying citizens, and have a decent, happy life. You know what I mean? I mean, they help the poor, you know, and there's nothing wrong with some people being successful. Yeah, some of the wealthy people are the most, that do the most for everybody. Philanthropists, that's what they call them.
Okay, so bring that experience to Africa. What are you looking at in terms of how we can go around this and make it work for our system?
Hey, man, Africa could focus on growing the middle class. You know, because people that go to work every day pay taxes.
Yeah, we do.
They food, clothing, shelter. You know what I mean? A few things, toys for the kids, cars. You pay taxes on everything. Your home, you pay. That stimulates, that keeps the government going. You know, and the government, I'll give you an example. Canada and Australia are two of my favorite countries. Reason being, they have nationalized medicine. Nationalized medicine means that the way nationalized medicine works is that it's like an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of the cure. In other words, people go and get a checkup every 6 months.
Right.
That's everybody.
Right. So there's
So if a person is suffering for something or some type of illness, they catch it so early, boop, they take care of it, no problem.
so that's like health insurance.
Bottom line.
Well, we do have health insurance in Ghana, though.
Yeah.
But it's a work in progress. But let's go back to
Okay.
some of the things you've seen in Africa, Ghana in particular. I mean, you've been here for how many weeks? 2 weeks now?
Yeah, a little over 2 weeks.
What are some of the things that amazes you about Ghana?
How people can still make a living from the sea. You know,
Make a living from the...
the fishermen.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
How they able to make a living?
Yeah,
From catching fish.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Because I know that, you know, we talked about the trash in the ocean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how the ocean cleanses itself and rejects the trash back
right.
onto the beach. And I'm sure that nowadays we dump so much more trash than say 10 or 20 years ago that eventually it's got to affect the sea life. You know what I mean? I mean, we're having that problem in America. You know what I'm saying? And it's killing the sea life. We've had oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico break off in a storm and leak hundreds of millions of gallons of oil
Into the sea.
into the sea.
Yeah.
And that's devastating. You know what I mean? And I was sharing with them how in China and Japan, they have incinerators where they burn all the trash and it generates electricity. Africa can have that. Africa can have that.
Compare what you've seen on our beaches.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they go fish in the sea,
Yeah.
you also see trash.
Yes. Yes.
You've seen a couple of them.
Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah.
What
Man.
was your first reaction when you saw them?
I was like, wow. I mean, you know, I mean, in
I
my,
know you're trying to be modest here, but,
Yeah.
but just be as
but
blunt
in
as you
my
can.
mind,
Yeah.
once upon a time, these beaches were pristine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once upon a time, these beaches were pristine. I don't know how long ago, okay? But colonizing civilization, I mean, that's the only thing that you colonize, right?
So you blame the colonizers.
Well, I'm not blaming them. You know, for their time, maybe those things work in their time, but it's not going to work today. You see what I'm saying? It's more people. It's more trash. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, life was simpler once upon a time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Until they came in
Well,
and exposed us.
exactly. You know, and I mean,
No, but we've also got the willpower to be able to
change.
change.
That's right.
So why are we unable to do that from what you see?
From my perspective,
Yeah.
is we have to come up with our own solutions. You know what I mean? Because the people here live here and they know them. Just like in Kenya, the Maasai. For me, they remind me of the Native American Indians. They lived off the land. You know what I mean? They only killed what they needed, and so they were nomadic. So they never destroyed the natural environment. They worked with the natural environment, and life was wonderful. And then the colonizers came, and a different type of civilization. You know what I mean? What they were conditioned or used to, you know, and it changes things.
But I'm listening to you, and I have a feeling that, look, there's this voice talking to me in my head.
Yeah.
Look, Victor is trying to tell you that, look, it's not about the colonizers, but it's about the fact that Africa
That's right.
needs to look for an African solution to its problem.
That's
Is that what we are lacking?
That's a
Is
fact.
that to say that an American solution cannot fix what is broken in Africa?
No. Africa has to come up with its own solution.
But we've got democracy,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes you watch the international media,
Yeah.
and they talk about some of our leaders, and
Yeah.
they say, look, they're autocratic. Reason being that they're not practicing democracy. And when they talk about democracy, it appears they're looking at it from either the American or the European perspective. Is that fair to Africa?
Well, okay, we're looking for a solution, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're looking for a solution. we're not looking to blame anybody, because blaming anybody is not going to give us the solution. I was talking to one fellow, and I said, you know, if I was the president of Ghana, I would have a program where the students would have to compete. And I want 10 winners, you know, sharp, intelligent students, you know what I mean? And each one of those students I send to a different country, okay? Because each country, I mean, that I have been in, they do 1, 2, 3, or 4 things better than anybody else. I send those 10 students to 10 different places.
In Africa? Or elsewhere?
In the world.
In the world, okay.
And then when they came back, each one would probably have at least one thing that would work for Africa. And guess what? I implement all 10 of those right there. Guess what? Africa gonna change like that.
So that's
you know
what we need.
Hey, these young people are telling, this is the future.
But I'm trying so hard to reconcile it to your earlier point that Africa's problem can best be solved with African solutions.
There we go.
But here we are, we're throwing about people to different countries to pick up, you know, what do you call it, ways and means of doing things, and then bringing it to our continent.
And make it fit. You know what I mean? You know,
force it to fit?
No, don't force it to fit. I mean, just like I said in China, the generator, the trash. I mean, other societies, that is how they have advanced. You know, I'll give you an example. Okay, you're familiar with Black Panther, the movie?
Yes, I am.
And Wakanda.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
And Wakanda forever was a advanced society.
Yes.
They had technology that nobody else
Vibranium.
had. Well, listen to me, man. Listen, look. Just like America borrowed so many things from Africa and took and improved on it. Like the instruments. When I went to the National Museum and I saw these African instruments that are thousands of years old, and I know the instruments from America, they took that idea, improved on it a little bit, and then they take credit for inventing it. But the original idea came from here. Now, let's go to the Chinese. I was in Shenzhen, China, and I looked up and I saw the Eiffel Tower to scale. It's a duplicate.
Oh.
A duplicate of the Eiffel Tower to scale.
Wow.
In Shenzhen. Hey, we know now that they make everything in China, right?
Yeah, they do.
You know, automobiles, everything, okay?
Yeah.
Some of those ideas came from somewhere else, right? But guess what? They improved on it a little bit and made it work for them. And now they sell it all over the world. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you let these young people go out there. Hey, it's just like the internet. You get a kid this big, he can do things with that phone that you can't do.
Yeah.
And so guess what? He's gonna be able to do more by the time he gets on up to our age. Hey man, they have the talent, the ability, you know. And if you raise them the right way, they have the drive. You know what I mean? To make the change. So you by going and getting the things that work in the society, not everything in the society works, but the things that work, and then, just like the Chinese, just like the Americans, fine tune it to where it works for you.
For Africa.
There you go.
One of the things that you said that is really significant to our conversation is information. I mean, communication. What is it that people need to know about Africa? I know America has done a lot of great work with information as far as using film and even cable news these days.
That's right.
To be able to tell their story.
Yeah.
Does Africa need to go that trajectory? Would that work for us?
Oh,
say film and
for sure.
And TV.
For sure. See, because a film is a powerful medium. Okay, everybody might not be able to afford, to travel the world, but in film, you can take them to places that they might not necessarily have the means to travel to, but they can learn something about that place that they didn't know. You know what I mean? they can learn something that might benefit them, in business, in art, in history, the whole 9 yards. The whole nine, and I mean, we all need to be entertained from time to time, right? But if you learn one or two things while being entertained, I call it edutain.
Yes.
You've been educated and entertained at the same time.
But does it help in world dominance? Because look, I speak to people more often because of the shows I do, both radio and TV. And when you hear a young African talk, the young African would want to see Africa rise to the top and even beat America. And I know America uses film in letting the world know that they're a superpower. And so, look, you have the people even saying that there was this propaganda that America won the Vietnam War through Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
You did, right?
Yeah.
You're a military guy, so you should know this.
hey, look, I had uncles and cousins that fought in that war, that died in that war, that came back damaged from that war.
Yeah.
We did not win that war.
So to repair that image, you use film.
Exactly.
Platoon and those other movies.
Exactly.
So what do you think Africa can do if they want to use film or say the creative arts industry in creating that impression that, look, we're moving towards world dominance? That's a deep sigh.
There are, see, I'll give you an example. What I see in Africa, Africa is the last part of the world that is most natural. It's the only continent that has the big five. You see what I mean? And the thing is if we lose the natural environment, guess what? Then all man starts to decrease.
Okay.
If we ruin this environment, if we ruin the earth, we're not going to be here much longer.
So what are we likely to ruin it with?
Well, in America, industrialization, making weapons. You know what I mean? They poisoned the lakes and streams and polluted everything. You know what I mean? For war.
Okay.
And many.
But you could dominate the world using the economy. I mean, you could.
Trade and technology.
Yes.
Trade and technology. You know what I mean? It will actually advance the world.
Yes.
You know, because look, I mean, in China, there are over 1.5 billion people, but they don't have enough water. I mean, you know, for everyone to have as much water as they want to.
Right.
You see what I mean? We're running out of the natural environment.
Okay, just hold that thought for me. When we come back, the other interesting stuff that I would want you to, share your experience with us on, right here on the show. Ugusu awoshe XYZ tonight na ene Bruni Bibini Victor Yao Harris ena yene na twetwe nkomo. And of course, wa share the experience normal wo hu fa a bibi memu ha ne ebetima ye asesa ne ebetima ye tumpon ni nyina ye enkomo a ya twetwe so far. Ye dane ye ho aba ye ba ye other revelations bi a ye be mamo. Nko so hwe XYZ tonight.
We are one man short. Should we invite him?
Yeah.
It be old cargo.
Can I join you guys?
Yeah. Always free, fresh, natural, eggs, mineral, water.
still got it. Always keep hydrated naturally. That's my secret.
Manufactured with the primary aim of preserving nature's finest minerals necessary for a healthy mind and body. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
I love makeup. Applying it gives me so much joy. But when it's time to take it off, nothing does the job quite like the Black Secret Makeup Wipes. When I go somewhere and I feel really sweaty, I take my Black Secret wipe and I use it on my face. It picks me up and I don't look as tired as I did when I walked in.
Before I work on a client's face, I like to go over it with Black Secret makeup wipes to make sure the face is clean. It doesn't leave the face dry and tight, but it keeps it soft and moisturized.
Wipes say your bodo.
Bakope, and it gets the job done. Or baby, and the smell makes the experience even better.
All right, yeah, about XYZ tonight in the TV XYZ, Facebook Live, and I think so we're free to air digital high definition TV. Maybe I will be our share. Yene a year Bruni Bibini, and as a Bibini Bruni, Victor Harris, and I Yene train como, or you'll be able to coin across the length and breadth of the world. And I think so. Now say I'm not finding out, say Jack, on way Bibini crouch and Bibiao. It's na waba a year Krum Hagana, waba for the past 2 weeks. Wananti mwa hunoma bebre de ne na dwenche to dwa no ana ye didi ho nkomo. In fact wakọ nkrobi so te say Kenya ene Tanzania ena feso Rwanda wa hunoma bebre sa experience no ena menene mienu ye share na monso manya ebi etie eti wadwenche no nsusu obetimi di aba WhatsApp line so ye be display o screen so na why normal bi ahom. You guys will relate to this because most of the films no mahwe ye be ko ho Tyler Perry aye adwuma may I sure say winning some movie a friend of Black Panther. And no man a man movie no. Yes, ube who baby as no money free. We'll get to that conversation. But before that, Harris, as we're back, when you walk on the streets of the national capital of Ghana, Accra, which is your home now, because you're more African than anything else.
Thank you.
What are some of the observations you make? What are some of the things you see that makes you go like, wow, we can do this, we can do that?
Yeah, I mean, I had gotten into a couple of conversations with a couple of people, and I was asking them about the drainage system. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem to be working properly. You know, and I was sharing that. We don't have drains like this in the States, you know. In the States, we have pipes and they're underground, you know. And so these drains are at least 100 years old. They don't work anymore, you know. So we need a new solution, you know, and that's a simple fix.
So the open drainage is a problem.
It is a problem because it becomes a breeding ground for mosquitoes.
Okay.
And of course, you know, mosquitoes carry malaria,
yes,
yellow fever,
yeah,
and a whole lot of different things, you know, and I couldn't understand that, you know, and that's an easy fix.
And it has to be done.
It has to be done.
So your suggestion or your solution is that we must have what? What kind of drainage facility should we have?
Enclosed drainage.
Ones, okay.
Yes, you know, and you know, I don't, you know, maybe this worked, you know, 75, 100 years ago. It doesn't work now. It doesn't work.
In the 21st century,
it doesn't work.
And it has no place in the future either.
No. I mean, if they, you know how water travels downhill.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at the top of a hill, you know, you flush water, I mean, you know, dams or whatever, to make it run and flush all the way to the ocean. You know, but this right here, this is outdated. It's outlived its lastability.
And from all the places you've been to, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, do you see these things, these open drainage, or it's only peculiar to Ghana? No, come on, tell me.
Yeah, it's a serious problem here. It's
here, as in Ghana.
Yeah. Here in Ghana,
it's a Ghanaian problem.
It's a Ghanaian problem. It is.
It's not a Kenyan problem.
No,
it's not a Rwandan problem either.
In Kenya right now, the Chinese are rebuilding most of the roads. They have a raised interstate that they're working on. They've put new bridges, new roads, wider roads, better sidewalks, to keep the pedestrians safe. And even in a few places, they even have a bike lane.
Wow, in Kenya.
Yeah, and even in Tanzania. Now, I know that they're making improvements here also, but the train system that goes from Nairobi to Mombasa, you know what I mean? The train stations, so these type of advancements are being made all over Africa. That's why I say in 10 years, man, Africa is going to be way further along than it is right now.
Way further along, as in we'll catch up with America, Europe, or
no,
we're going to beat them?
It will be progressive. Africa is so much larger than the U.S. It's so much larger than Great Britain.
Yeah.
It's a continent.
So are we going to catch up, or we're going to
probably bypass?
Bypass? Why? Wow, we're going to bypass.
Yeah, because especially if Africa develops in a more environmentally friendly way. You see what I mean? I mean, we in these different societies, they made mistakes a long time ago.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, Great Britain, London is an island. You could probably put it into Africa 1,000 times. America, you could put it into Africa. No, let me say North America. When I say North America, Mexico, the USA, and Canada, and Alaska are all the same landmass. That's North America. And you can put North America in Africa maybe at least 2 times.
Interesting. Anyway, let's go back to United States of America and some of the projects you've done that most of us here in Africa can relate to. I mean, you worked with Tyler Perry.
I have.
Tell me about it.
I worked with Tyler Perry a number of years. I worked on at least 6 of his projects, TV shows and movies. Worked at Tyler Perry Studios, the older facility. Now he has a new facility that's even larger and more developed than the old facility. Everything I know about Tyler Perry.
So what's that we see on the screen there? I mean, these are some of the sets?
These are some of the sets, and this is, I'm in the process of making movie brick.
Okay.
That's Structuralite, the red. We put dye in it.
Okay.
And look,
it makes it look like it's a brick house.
And then we make brick.
Oh.
It's not heavy. It's lightweight.
Wow.
You see what I mean? It's like a paste.
Okay.
It's like a paste. We put it on a board.
Oh,
I worked on at least 5 of the Fast and Furious movies. That was Tyler Perry's backlot. Okay. In other words, a neighborhood.
Okay.
Just not real houses.
Right.
But finished enough to look like a neighborhood.
Okay.
And they would shoot scenes. Kids running down the street or whatever. Okay? Because Tyler Perry has his own backlot.
Okay.
That's what they call those, okay? This was from the movie Hunger Games.
Right. Hunger Games.
Yeah, we did 2. Okay, this is from one of the Fast and Furious movies.
Can we go back to it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to Fast and Furious. I mean, that was that a warehouse, or because I see some trucks?
Yes, it was a huge warehouse.
Right.
And I think it was a steel plant at one time, and it had the heavy duty lifts in it.
Okay, so we'll put that on the screen, but as you're walking us through it, tell me about Tyler Perry's influence. Look, a lot of people, even in Africa, look up to him, where he started from, where he is now.
Yeah.
Did it come that easy for him?
No, it wasn't easy, but Tyler Perry was a good businessman. You know, his first movie actually was a play that was adapted into movie form.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he actually put Atlanta on the map in the film industry. Of course, now all the major motion picture industry companies are there in Atlanta, but Tyler Perry was the start of pretty much all of that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you know, well respected. You know, and like I say, I mean, I've met him, I've talked to him a few times. Nice gentleman.
What does he think of Africa as we watch some of the sets that you've worked on? I mean, we're going to put a couple of them on the screen as we're watching it. Just talk us through. What's that? That's Fast and Furious, right?
That is Hunger Games. That was one of the sets on Hunger Games. We had sets on the Hunger Games that were as large as a football field.
What?
You know, in Hunger Games where they did the chariot scenes with the horses, and we built all of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we built all of that. You know, the different structures, we build all of that. You know, and then they come in, they do the scenes, and then we tear it down and discard of it and move on to the next project.
To the next project.
Yes, sir.
So can we see the next one? Probably we may see Fast and Furious, one of my favorites. All-time blockbuster movies. Fast and Furious. I mean, I was like working on the Fast and Furious, you know, set.
Yeah.
Was it Fast and Furious?
It's. I mean, you have a lot of people with different talents. You know, that's the fascinating thing about the film industry. You know what I mean? I mean, there are so many different departments that have to come together, you know, to make a film successful.
So you have to weave them all.
Exactly. You know, at the end of every movie, you see the credits.
Yeah.
All those names, all those people. It took all those people to make that one
movies.
film. That 90-minute film, it took all those people.
Okay, so now we have the Fast and Furious ready. Let's see the set. Let's see is that it?
Yep.
So which scene would this be?
This is just the beginning of us building everything in the set.
Right.
And I've got some better pictures, and I'm going to share them with you.
Sure.
You know, you guys can edit it in later. You know what I mean? The finished product, but this was the hideout. This was the hideout where all the fast cars were, and this was their office.
Okay. Yeah.
And this was their base.
Yeah.
And this was
where they get to strategize.
That's where they strategize. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact. But we just start out with a huge warehouse, and then we build everything that we need.
Wow.
You see what I mean? For the scenes, you know? I mean, the offices were shipping containers that we cut doors and windows in.
So there's a deliberate effort to invest in the movie or in the film.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
for
wow.
sure. For sure.
And you don't. Okay, so in doing this, you depend on what? Financiers, or is just
they are called angels. They are called investors. They are called let me see.
So they throw in their money.
Filmmaking is a different form of investing. Before a film is started, the money to pay for the production is in escrow before they even start. And that takes it might take a group of investors. Like Fast and Furious, I think on Fast and Furious, no, I'm sorry. On Black Panther.
Black Panther, yeah.
I think they invested maybe 400 million, maybe a little bit over 400 million.
Wow.
It may have been 500 million.
Wow.
Okay. To pay, you know, everyone. Okay.
As in everyone, the crew, cameraman,
the cast,
sets.
You know, the actors. They are in the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
They get paid. We all get paid before the movie is finished from the money that's in escrow.
Oh.
Okay? So when they shoot the last scene, And now it's ready for post-production, the editing, color correction, the soundtrack, the music. You know, any editing that needs to be done, that's post-production. That's after all the scenes are shot, right? Sometimes they might even have to come back and shoot a couple of scenes, right? Everybody's paid.
Everybody's paid.
Everybody's paid.
Even before it's premiered.
Even before it comes out.
Wow.
It usually comes out a year
Hold on. Let
later.
me say this to my folks.
Yeah.
Tio, ye trio moka. Azana movie no. Ya ye bibia rio. Azana ye beko is a silver bed and a bibia say ye kwako premier no. Ye trio biaka. I don't know what I say no. So everybody gets paid.
Everybody gets paid. Everybody's paid. You know what I mean?
Because the money's already sitting somewhere.
The money is already in escrow.
Wow.
Before they start. That way they know they're going to finish. Okay, then post-production. Black Panther, okay, say they spent $500 million. You know how much it made in less than a year?
Talk to me.
$1 billion.
Wow.
$1 billion. In less than a year. That movie. I mean, think about it like this. Think about it like this, okay? In America, the population is, well, I mean, 400 million.
Okay.
400 million, okay? Say 10% of Americans like the movie. That is, what, 40 million?
Yeah, 40 million.
40 million,
yeah.
Okay? 40 million times $12 or $15. That's quite a bit of money, right?
Sure.
Okay, now take it internationally, out in the world.
Yeah.
You know, it generates revenue.
Right.
Every step of the way.
Right.
Okay, a year and a half later, it's on television.
Okay, so we want to learn stuff from you. I mean, what really attracts the investment? Is it the scripts? Is it the the aura the movie director or producer carries, the charisma he carries? Is it his goodwill, or perhaps just people who are just looking for something to invest in? What is it really that brings the investment?
Well, serious investors are always looking for a good investment, okay? And the more talented people that you have on a project, the chances of it being successful are so much better. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And in the film industry, they shoot, the goal that they shoot for is to break even. And when I say break even, say you spent $400 million, and the movie only made $400 million.
I mean,
you broke even.
I mean, you spent $400 million.
Yeah.
And the movie only made what?
$400 million.
Well, that's fairly okay.
You didn't lose any money.
Yeah. But you've got your $400 million back.
So
okay,
guess what?
I get that.
Now you're going to try another project. Say you get Black Panther.
Yeah.
You invest your $400 million, and you make $1 billion.
And that's way beyond your expectations.
You
so
see
that,
what I mean?
that will attract the next investment.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you want to get people like, what's his name, Van Vicker?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, for us.
So you've seen him. You've seen his movie.
Yeah.
You like it?
He's good. Yeah. You know, it's good. It's different.
It's different.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
The thing is, and I like his name, you know.
Van Vicker.
I'm Victor. Maybe I'll get a chance to meet him. But anyway.
Yeah.
The thing is that, I mean, Forrest Whitaker was in the movie. Angela Bassett was in the movie.
That's
right. I mean,
right.
these are actors and actresses, and Chadwick Boseman, you know.
Yeah.
And he was a great guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nice guy. Nicest guy you ever, and nobody ever even knew he was sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the guy was a stand-up guy. You know, I met him, the first time I worked with him was on 42, the Jackie Robinson story.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
That was the first time you worked with him.
That's the first time I worked with him.
You worked on that movie too?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, and he was the nicest guy. You know, some actors and actresses, they put on airs and they can't talk to, you know, regular people. You know, he wasn't like that.
Oh, he spoke to anyone?
Man, he was down to earth, man.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He just like us sitting here talking.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy he was. You know, and of course he will always greatly be missed. You know what I mean?
Since this is a cultural experience, or I mean, ideas exchange, sort of a conversation.
Yeah.
I would want to know from you what some of the key things you think those in our film industry can do in order to be able to attract the needed investment and yield the expected profits.
Well, you know, filmmaking is storytelling.
Yes, it is.
And believe you me, Africa has plenty of great stories that need to be told.
Yeah.
All we need is people to put it down in black and white. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, you might not be a script writer, but you can write the story, and then a script writer can turn it into a script.
That's right.
Where a movie can be made and the story can be preserved and passed down through generations. You know what I mean? And because good stories become classics. You see what I mean? Because there's a positive message in the movie. You know, and so hey, I would say, hey, there's plenty of wealthy Africans in Africa.
And so they need
There's plenty of wealthy everybody in Africa. I mean, it takes money to build these buildings and hotels and resorts and things like that. And if they see a good script that they would like to support and help this movie be made, guess what? They will invest their money. You know, once they understand how the return comes back,
they will invest.
They will invest.
Very well. All right. So as we're wrapping up with our conversation, I'm sure your final words, I mean, no final words as in that sense, but your parting words.
Well, what I would like to say to any African Americans that have the opportunity to view this, come experience Africa for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Even though I'm a photographer and I shoot video everywhere I go, and I hope to complete a documentary once I return, come and experience Africa for yourself. You know, don't take my hearsay. You know what I mean? Because it's been wonderful and beautiful for me. It might be wonderful and beautiful for you. All right. I just want to thank you guys for having me.
Very well.
And hopefully you'll invite me back.
Absolutely, you'll come back. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Medasi.
Medasi. Say Medasi.
Medasi.
Because I heard for your Dasi. I heard for.
Heard for.
I heard for.
I have for.
Edasi.
Edasi.
Yeah, oh yeah, dear. It's y'all not in Kano. Harris, Victor. In fact, I know that you're not a come of course, to say you're kind of a photographer, a film. In fact, he's into the film industry, and he'll be able to quite across the globe. What in the experience about yate, I yes, idea every home. It's XYZ tonight in here, but since she built a juada, maybe I will be a come away. Maybe I will be a yendidia, ne copim say you been ya, and some no do na apple messibre. Within the Prince Kwame Minka, you better share you.